bringing you health, happiness, and everything in between. 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. I'm your host, Vernon Brown, and we are talking about making it through the holidays. This time of year it's cold. It's 37 degrees here. I know I got my clients in different areas, and they are laughing because they're like 37 degrees. It's like a warm day for some of them. Some of them live in Buffalo. But here in Alabama, it's 37 degrees, freezing. Yes, we understand it's a holiday week coming up. We got Thanksgiving coming up, Black Friday. I got a special announcement coming out Wednesday. But the big thing we are focused on this week is the survival guide for the rest of the year. Closing things out, we got some different things going on, but we're going to balance things out. The survival guide is as such different ways you can approach the holidays so you can have more fun. I talked a little bit about this. Oh, there we go. Talked a little bit about this last week, how happiness drops down significantly because people are just want to connect more. People want to buy more things. People want. And not saying these things aren't good, but we tend to overextend ourselves these time of the year. Financially, emotionally, mentally, physically, even aspirationally, we can overextend ourselves. And so, for a lot of us, as good as this time is, we still need some different tips, some different ways to approach things, and some better ways of being. Better ways of being during the holidays. So let's start straight from the rip. Let's talk about family. Family, friends, and loved ones. I always start here because it's around this time of year, especially mid-November to about the rest of the year. Pop this over here. For the rest of the year, what tends to happen around this, what goes on is we get really involved in our families. We love them, we care about them, we want to see them, but we always have that one, maybe two, maybe four people, five people who drive us off a mother loving wall. I'm working on that cussing. So thank you for appreciating. I got comments about my French toast reference. It's just me parsing my language to make sure that I do not curse. Not that I cuss a lot, but I'm still being mindful of it. But anyway, mother loving family members who we appreciate and we love. And I got a couple of tips for how you can handle them to create some distance. Sometimes it's good to love them with a long handled spoon is what my grandmother used to say and my mom used to say. Meaning you can love them, just make sure you create some distance. We need to make sure that we are creating distance and protecting ourselves. We can love them, and we can, but after a few minutes, after a few conversations, we need to start talking about putting some boundaries up. Start having better boundaries with those people that you love, those people that you care about. Maybe they might not even be your family members. Maybe it could be the family member's, spouse, family member's partner, family member's friend. Create some sort of distance. And I'm just being real here. I'm not trying to speak for this, quintessential nuclear family where everyone gets along, because that's not everyone's family. I know people portray that from watching these movies, but that is not everyone's family. And no one's, it ain't mine. But creating distance, those boundaries of people, is a really great way. If come Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I know some people are doing Friendsgiving. I know people have different timelines. But if you are going to be with them at whatever time, for whatever time period, set a time limit. Let me give you an example of setting a time limit. Picture seeing a movie that you don't like, or being someplace that you don't want to be, that you are optionally being involved with, that you are optionally making time with. Wouldn't it make sense to say after 2 hours, I'm going to take my leave. I'm going to give everything that I possibly can that I'm able to give. If you're at 60%, you give 60. That's still 100%. I made a post about that the other day. If you got 80% and you want to feel good about it, give them that 80, give them that 70, give them what you can with what you have. After 2 hours, oh man, look at the time. That is not disingenuous. That is not being fake. That is taking care of yourself and showing them some love. Create a time, a barrier, a boundary with these persons. I know that you love them. I know that you care about them. Thank you for that tip. I know that you love them, that you care about them. But if you know it's going to put your relationship at odds ends, do this. Years and years ago, and how I even stumbled upon something like this. It started with, a quote that I've said before. Most people do what's expected of them versus what they want. I need to run that by again because this really stopped me and dropped me straight dead in my tracks. Most people do what's expected of them versus what they want. Sometimes people can get a sense of obligation that they have to be there, or a sense of obligation that they have to participate in some of these family events and some of these gatherings. And I get that. But if you know that when you're around your uncle, your aunt, your cousin, Tasha, I appreciate you. Thank you. And you know that it's going to rub you the wrong way. I got family members that love to get political. I don't talk about politics. I don't. I might engage with it to some degree. Do I have an opinion? Of course. Am I informed? Of course. But that's my personal opinion. That's how I personally feel. Why am I going to share it with everyone? I always let people know, I'm about to get into this boundary, that you also need to have a conversation or a context boundary, which I'm about to dive into. But if I know I'm going to be with a person who's going to be rubbing me the wrong way, who's going to be saying the things that I dislike or the things that are going to aggravate me, why am I going to sit there and give them all the control in the world to manipulate me, to play with me? I'm not freaking Pinocchio. So why are you treating them like Geppetto, where they can sit back and play with that? No, the power is in this. I love you so much, I'm going to give you 2 hours, 100% after that I'm out. Because after that, that's when it's going to get fake. Because then you're going to be like, hey, yeah, you're so funny. And you know damn well inside, pardon my language, darn well inside, you're ready to go. This ain't for everybody, but for the persons that make sense, you know exactly what I'm talking about. That is me. That was me. Because I don't get involved with stuff like that anymore. I moved. I love distance. Distance creates value in many cases. But if you are a person that you know you're going to be around this uncle, aunt, cousin, make sure you set a time limit. But, when it comes to subject boundaries, this was hot, especially last year and the year before that. We know why. Everybody's opinion was out there. I am a huge believer of staying the F out of that nonsense. I don't care. Conversations, whether it involves, politics, religion, abortion, and a few other things, orientation, beliefs, all of those things do not bring people together. They do not. Because they can on the surface agree with you, but as you start diving down, it can get nasty. I'm not saying that people are inherently going to be argumentative. I'm just trying to say there's a lot of factors that forms a person's opinion. And if we're talking about top subjects that are charged, that are loaded, or potentially, plagued with some sort of traumas or some sort of, past beliefs that maybe went on for a long time, because that's how we form opinions. Why am I going to go there? I'm trying to break bread with you, not break your neck. So why are we going to go there? This is a context boundary. I'm so excited to see you, uncle, auntie, loved one, cousin, whoever it be, niece, nephew, whoever it is. But can we do a really good job this time of staying away from this subject, and this subject? I want us to have a great time. I want to keep this light and friendly. I've been talking about this all week. I just want to have fun. Or you use whatever language you can and just let people know straight from the rip. This is what we're doing. This is how we can do it. And this is what we're getting down with. And we're not going to talk about this. You will have to, in many cases, remind persons, hey, we're not going there, remember? Hey, we're not going there, remember? Because in their case, it's fun. It's a way of engaging, but it's not fun for you. It's practicing a boundary where you tell people, let's not talk about these things. It helps. And if people are not going to be respectful of that, we don't need to get nasty. Remember, we're practicing having a good time. So practice removing yourself from the conversation. If you remind them and they persist, do your best to excuse yourself. I'll call it doing a Christian Bale. Christian Bale, Batman Begins. It's one of the best the best Batman movie ever. Fight me about it. Who cares? I love Michael Keaton too, but Christian Bale, Batman, he just disappears. And that's what you do. When people aren't participating the way you would like to participate, and you're focused on your time, you value yourself and your energy, and you can't wait to get in the car to talk some trash, disappear. Just okay, no problem. And just go. You don't need to get nasty. Remember, you engaging with people that's just a way for you to run a risk of getting involved. Because make no mistake, with all conversations, if I can control your emotions, I can control you. Those conversations get serious quick. And once they get emotional, you have no control. You don't. There's many different ways you can, but at that place, think about it. This is about connecting with people. This is about leveling people. You don't want to sit there and be thinking strategically, so avoid all that together. Love with a long-handled spoon. Set a time boundary. Set a time boundary. You don't need to also vocalize this. Just know in your mind. 30 minutes, that's all I got to do. You get real excited when you know you're only going to be at your cousin's house for an hour. Because you're like, I can do this for an hour. All I got to do is watch one episode of Stranger Things, right? And then all of a sudden you're like, oh yeah, Stranger Things. Oh yeah, gosh. And then Dawson. And you just all of a sudden transport yourself to a whole new place. I can make it an hour. I can make it 2. I can make it 4. It at least lets you know what's coming up and how long did this has to last. And lastly, making sure that you have some sort of subject boundary. If you maybe went through some sort of breakup, maybe you went through some sort of, maybe not working at your job anymore. Maybe you were starting an entrepreneurial journey and it's very tender and it's new. And when things are new, we can be a bit more sensitive. Let people know, hey, let's keep work out of the conversation today. I want to have fun, right? Or let's limit, let's talk about whatever subject for a few minutes. Let's move on. Say things like that. Let people know what you will allow, what you won't allow, and what's going to work best. And when you always put their intentions first, that's a bonus point. Hey, can we not talk about work so we can focus on having more fun like we did last year? People become more agreeable when you frame it that way because they're like, oh, yeah, you're right. You're not just pushing back to push back. You're saying, hey, let's talk about this so we can focus on the fun. Remember these things. Also, again, we talk about different strategies every day, including on Thanksgiving. You're going to be seeing some things going on in the background. I might be cooking a couple of times, or Thursday or Wednesday. I might be cooking as I talk with you all, but thank y'all for watching. Today at 2 o'clock Eastern, I got a special guest, and this is specifically for the ladies. I have a really great friend of mine. She is a flipping expert. I don't want to talk about things too much because we're going to be talking about the food side of Survival Guide for the holidays. Because we all know we're about to get down this week. A lot of us are. Some of us will, some of us won't. I'm getting down. I am telling you now, I'm getting down. And for women, this can be a really tough time of the year. I'll let our special guest, her name is Dawn. Dawn, if you're watching this, I love you to death. I can't wait to talk with you. We're doing an interview. If you have any questions, by the way, go ahead and send those over to me. This is targeted specifically for women 40 plus who want to have get their questions answered about nutrition, who want to get their questions answered about their hormones. She is an expert and she's phenomenal. You're going to love her. That's at 2 o'clock. We're going to have a great interview with her. And she will be answering questions live. But look, check this out. I'm going to jump off of here. We got the Survival Guide coming 5 days this week, giving you tips, time boundary, context boundary, or, content boundary, making sure we're talking about those. And I'll see you all tomorrow. And special announcement coming Wednesday. All right, guys, you go out there, be safe, be happy, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Well, I'll see you this afternoon, actually.